Welcome again to the Real Collective Showcast. My name is Brendan McKeigan. With me, as always, is Sean Tasse, and we are both realtors in Ottawa. I feel like we need to have a morning radio show shock jock sound effects.
Yes.
Just throughout the whole episode of when it's just the two of us. What do you think, Sean? Well, I don't know. Sounds like a kind of a sticky situation.
Someone throwing a cat across a room.
Yeah, exactly. And then car crash sounds.
Yeah.
So this is the show, everybody. Thanks for tuning in. We have a great topic in mind for you guys today, so we're going to talk about that. Sean and I are going to go in depth. Before we get to that, if you're having a good time, don't forget to like, subscribe, and share on the YouTube channels. You can probably scroll down and see some more of our videos as well. That would be great. Listing videos are pretty funny sometimes, guys, so check those out. Or any other videos that we do. Market updates. Sean has a lot of those, and I've got some over on my page. That's some fun listing videos there as well. So stick around. If you're on Apple Podcasts or Spotify, tell your friends about it. And if you're not, you don't have to be because you're already here on YouTube, and we appreciate that. So today, we are going to pull back the curtain a little bit and go over some of the things that we get asked all the time, not all the time, but by clients who you always have that sort of uncertainty once you put an offer in and you don't hear back from your realtor. You're like, what's going on? What's going on? What's going on? And then they finally call you. We're going to close in that gap today. We're going to talk about the negotiating process and what a realtor, what we do behind the scenes to get you the home that you want or get your home sold.
Yeah, absolutely. It's the whole purpose of this is trying to demystify, right? What's going on. So one thing, it's in my signature block. I do have a RENE, which means a real estate negotiation expert certification. So I would.
I've got the same thing. I don't know if we took it at the same time, but real estate negotiation expert certification, which basically just means we've done a little bit more than just get our real estate license. We're committed to trying to do the best thing that we can for our clients, to try to get you the best price that you can for your home or to get you the home that you want. And that's what I tell my clients. I'm going to get you the home that you want without spending more than you have to. So it's a two-sided coin, and we flip it depending on what you're doing.
Yeah.
And it's a great course. I think it really helps us as far as understanding different personality types, how to negotiate with different personality types with other realtors. I think that's it really does give you a leg up. So this isn't necessarily to just toot our own horns or anything like that, but we just, there's a lot of people like, oh my God, I was sitting here biting my nails for 4 hours. So that's what we're going to do is like, we're going to talk about that quote unquote 4 hours.
Right. Yeah. And a lot of the times it comes down to working well, creating good relationships with our, other realtors. These people we're collaborating with to try to bring something together, especially as the market starts to level out a little bit. It becomes a much more collaborative approach. Whether you are selling or whether you are buying, it's important to work well with our colleagues within the real estate world. And I think we do a good job of that. I think there are some realtors that don't. Some realtors want to fight, right?
Yeah.
They really want to get into an argument about it as opposed to try and bring something together. And I think just from a mindset point of view, from a philosophical point of view, I think that benefits our clients, right? With trying to make something happen, because a lot of the times making something happen means that we're not doing what the other side wants us to do. And a lot of times it comes down to pricing, right? So, if not price, what else can we do to bring something together or to make it happen? The first sort of theory that I wanted to talk about was a theory called anchoring. The idea being, as soon as you've put a number on a piece of paper, let's say, for example, if you're the buyer and you started at a lower number and you're working towards whatever their list price is, as soon as you put a number on the paper, you have anchored yourself at that number. And so by not putting that number on paper yet, asking for other things other than the price, helps you keep your anchor at a lower price point. Same thing if you're a seller. If you're playing the game where it's a balanced market and you have to come down from your listing price, as soon as you come down to a certain number, you can't go back up. Right? So the idea of anchoring while you're negotiating is very important. And you don't ever want to give too much when you're going through that negotiating process. You want to sort of pull on the other strings before you get into talking about getting stuck on just the price. And I think a big savings could be there for you either as a buyer or a windfall as a seller by not giving up super easily. Right? There's a really good book out by a professional negotiator named Chris Voss called Never Split the Difference. There's a lot of really neat stuff in there about how to negotiate. And the whole idea is so many realtors, when you're talking about that 4-hour gap between when you submit your offer and when you get it back, so many conversations are, hey, you're listed at 700. I've offered you 660. We're probably going to wind up at 680. Right? That's the real basic philosophy. Now, working with a strong professional means that if you're the buyer, you want to wind up less than 680. And if you're the seller, you want to wind up more than 680. So what are the little tricks and tips and conversations that we can have to get to that point? And sometimes it's a back and forth. And it's a couple times back and forth before you land at whatever that spot is, right?
Yeah. I also find thinly veiled threats work when you're talking to the other realtor. They don't have to be real threats, just thinly veiled.
Give me a for example.
Hey, it's Brendan. It's just following up on the offer here. I noticed that you countered back $1,000 under list price, and I think we're way off than that. Didn't you just get a new car? Oh my God! Wow, I hear the tires on those get slashed really easily. So advantage Brendan right there.
Obviously, yeah.
I feel like there should be a disclaimer flashing on the screen right now, so people are like, do not do this.
Where's that car crash sound?
Yeah, exactly. Yeah. We got the house.
Yeah, no, again, I think joking aside, it comes down to working well with the other side. And yeah, okay, you can joke about it, but a lot of the times, see, before that agent ever sent the offer back to you, that was $1,000 under the list price, the real good agents are going to call you and they're going to ask a bunch of questions. And the idea is, we'll do the same thing for you, right? Your agent theoretically will do the same thing where you ask a lot of questions to the other side. So, if you're the buyer, you want to ask, why are these guys selling? I noticed in the walk-in closet, there's 2 owners on title, but in the walk-in closet, there were only women's clothes. Is something happening? And if you can get that information and you can start to, realtors love to talk. They will just tell you everything. And if you're a good realtor, you can pull that information from the other agent and you can use that to the benefit of your client.
Yep. Yeah. And I mean, you get asked those questions too by other competent realtors, and that's up to you as a realtor if you want. If you slip up, you're not supposed to give out that information to begin with. So knowing that ahead of time, a lot of times, like you said, realtors like to talk. I mean, we had to start a podcast because we were talking too much. So here we are. But that's what happens, right? Like they're just like, oh, well, yeah, it's a nasty divorce. He's taken off out west and she's taking the truck and driving to Panama, and it's just a big court battle right now. They just want the house sold. Bing, 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 bing. Okay. Well, here's your super, super low offer.
Yeah, exactly.
Just to get the house sold.
And once you know the motivations of the other side, you can push harder. If you're a seller and your agent is asking questions to the buyer's agent, hey, why are they putting in this price? Oh, they're putting in this price and they've got a pre-approval. Why are they putting in this date? They've got a pre-approval that expires at such and such a time. Oh, okay. They like this house enough to put an offer on it. They've got a pre-approval that expires at such and such a time. We can push back a little bit harder, right? And so by asking these questions, you're going to know where you stand and where you can push. I think it's a huge advantage versus sometimes agents will just send an offer and you'll just get an email. Here's your offer. Like, okay, obviously, competent agents are going to want to pick up the phone, make a phone call, and say, hey, what's going on with this? Tell me about it. What are your buyers doing? Are they pre-approved? There's all these different questions on the listing side that we're asking, and all similar set of questions, but a little bit different on the buyer side that we're asking as well. Maybe we can talk about what some of those questions are. Makes sense.
Yeah. I mean, I recently had that where it just email. Anyway, here's an offer. And it's almost like the other realtors trying to like not pull a fast one, but like maybe if I don't tell them, it'll just kind of like, oh, yeah, we'll take it. Like, I don't know what the thought process there is, but I get one of those and I think, all right, well, ball's in my court. So same, like you said, you'd call them and talk to them and you're like, yeah, so this price isn't going to work, because that's what they're trying to do. They're trying to go lower than they know that they should, by just like, here's an offer, and they just kind of throw it at you, and you're like, yeah, like, nice try, bud. It's like putting a kick me sign on the back of somebody. Like, if you get caught, you're like, seriously, come on.
So the conversation that I would have, let's say, for example, if we were the listing agent and the buyer agent sent that offer in, and it came in and it seemed a lot lower, would be something along the lines of, hey, thanks so much for the offer. We super appreciate it. We're happy to work with you. I just had a couple questions about the offer that you sent in. I noticed you have a home inspection condition. We actually had a home inspection done, passed with flying colors. We also noticed that you have a condition for mortgage financing. Are your clients pre-approved? Have they spoken with a bank? Are they actually like really pre-approved, or just like, oh yeah, hey, they're fine, right? And then the other bit, obviously, will be about the closing date. Will be, ask questions about is that their absolute, or is it the only day that they can close, or can they close sooner or later, depending on the needs of our selling client. And then the other question would be, hey, you know what? I noticed that you put this price on your offer. It seems lower than what I thought fair market value would be. Can I ask you, what specifically caused you to believe that that is a fair price to buy this property? Oh, no, that's not a fair price. That's just their starting price. They wanted to da-da-da. And they just, again, you ask the questions and they just start talking. And well, I think their price is too low and I think I can get them up. And I'm pretty sure that, I can work with you and da-da-da-da. And all of a sudden, you're just asking questions and you're letting them fill in the gaps, and it all works to the benefit of our clients.
Yeah, and I think that's the main difference between having someone who has taken a little bit more than just the real estate course and has some actual negotiating experience, or does some other independent, like you said, never split the difference, like that book, or anything else for that matter. But I do think there's still a lot of realtors out there that are just like, what about this? And then they're like, well, why? Oh, well. And then they just like, it's gossip, like sometimes it's almost just like gossip for them, and they get so excited to talk about it. They're like, all right, well, appreciate that. Thanks very much. We'll be in touch.
And you take it back to your client and you advise and you say, hey, here's all the information that I have. Here's what I think you should do. And obviously it's up to our clients, but they're looking to us to advise, right? Now, if you're working with a buyer, I think some of the questions that we're asking is, why are they selling? Where are they going? What's their time frame? And again, as the buyer agent, before submitting the offer, I'll ask the listing agent, hey, I've run a couple comps. How did you come up with this price? Because I'm having a hard time justifying it. And they do the same thing, right?
Yeah. Yeah.
It's, oh, well, that's the price the client wanted. Now I told them it should have been $50,000 less and blah, 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 blah. Oh, okay. Well, great. Now you know that you've got an advocate when you're submitting your offer at $50,000 less or $100,000 less.
Yeah.
On behalf of your client, you've got an advocate in the other agent who's trying to sell your deal, again, for the benefit of your client, right? And when one of the things we say in our buyer presentation is when you find the home you love, we're going to recommend an offer strategy. And that offer strategy recommendation is only going to be based on the conversation that we have with the other agent, right? We're going to collect as much information as we can, relay that information to you, and then help you go and submit a powerful offer, right?
Exactly. And that's why you should hire us.
No, that's not what it's about.
I know. I've just been messing around. I do think that's a good place to take a break and jump back into it in the second half. So we'll hear a word from probably us in there. Who knows? Or it'll be like a 3-second clip that just says "Real Collective Part 2," which would be hilarious.
I think that's the audio. We're good.
Yeah, that might be it. We'll just clip that. Anyway, we'll be right back. Don't forget to like, subscribe, and share the channel, and download us on Apple Podcasts and Spotify.
This episode of the Real Collective podcast is brought to you by Real Collective. Real Collective brings together best-in-class real estate agents and collective experts in the field to deliver the best possible service to our clients. We govern ourselves with honesty, open-mindedness, and compassion. With diverse skill sets, our agents are able to better serve a wide array of clients, including first-time buyers, first-time sellers, transferees, estate sales, investors, and rural, vacation, and luxury properties. Authenticity and transparency are pillars of our process, which allows us to put our clients at the center of everything we do. Our years of experience and knowledge allow us to deliver prestigious service and optimal results. If you are interested in buying or selling your home, contact us today at realcollective.ca.
Welcome back, everybody, to the second half. I hope you enjoyed that incredible break. That was probably the greatest commercial you've ever seen. Again, like, subscribe, and share the page. I'm going to keep saying it till you do it. The whole thing, the whole page, or my page too. That'd be great. YouTube.com/Brendan McKeigan. We should link to that below. Link to my YouTube page. Yeah. Maybe one day. One day we'll do that, guys. It'll be great. We're gonna see some stuff from me. Anyway, getting into the second half, there's some more things we wanted to cover. Why don't we just jump right in?
Yeah. So I wrote a couple notes. One thing that is, I think, detrimental when I've seen other real estate agents negotiate is when they take on the emotions of their client and then share them with me. So as an agent, as a client, a lot of the stuff that you're doing feels emotional. When you're buying, it's happy. When you're selling, it's sad. It's not always that way. Sometimes when you're selling, it's happy. Sometimes when you're buying, it's probably mostly happy. But sometimes about money, people start getting their backs up and they start to get really, emo. And as agents, we want to limit that. And especially even if our clients are feeling it, you can't let it get in the way of getting something together. A lot of our job is to run interference on behalf of our clients. That's part of what agency is. And so if I'm so mad, I can't believe they would send that offer back, blah, blah, blah. Who cares? That's the offer you have, right? Work with it and find a way forward, even given the fact that the offer came in a way that you might not have liked, right?
Yeah, exactly. And it's, I know it can be difficult to separate that, but you got to do it. Like, otherwise, why don't you just introduce your clients to each other and have them scream and yell at each other? Like, How dare you? And then nothing will happen because they'll both just hate each other so much. Like, how many times does that happen where, like, I feel insulted by this? And even after the deal is done, like, you reach something that you're both happy with to have a home sold, and they're like, I can't believe the buyer, I can't believe the seller, and blah, blah, blah. I hate them so much. I'm like, you'll never meet them. Let it go. Don't worry about it. You're never going to meet them.
I think a really important thing for us to do as agents is to take the time to put ourselves in the other person's shoes, or in their situation, or in their scenario, and I think when we do that, especially if we can relay that information to our clients to help them understand, hey, you know what, maybe they're doing this and it doesn't have anything to do with you, right? If anybody submitted that offer to them, they would react in a similar way. I mean, if you're a buyer and you're coming in with a lowball offer, and it's going to hurt the seller no matter what, right? It's hard to start negotiations. I've always said this when you slap someone on the face. So right now, the average list price to sell price is like 97%, right? The average list price for houses is something like, I don't know, 788, and average sell price is like 779 or something like that. Like, it's not a big difference. So to come in with an offer that's, $40,000-$50,000 off the list price, that's a slap in the face. Sellers aren't expecting to see that low of price. And some sellers can get upset when they see that and like, you know what? This isn't the right buyer. I don't want to work with them. And the buyers at the same time are thinking, oh, well, the sky is falling. The market prices are coming down. And so I've got to buy it for less than fair market value if I'm going to buy it. Right. And so once you understand what both sides are thinking, I think you can help your client get a better understanding of why, a counter offer of $1,000 off the list price might be coming when they've submitted an offer which is $50,000 less than what it was listed for, right?
Yeah. And I mean, it happens quite a bit. And what are you going to do? You got to deal with it.
And that's why I said, I mean, it's not always about the price, right? Sometimes it's about the terms and the conditions. Sometimes it's about, look, I've had 3 other offers as a seller and they all fell apart on financing. I don't want to see an offer with a financing clause, or, I need to move by such and such a date. It's more about the date than it is about the money. I mean, time is money, and a lot of the times we can reduce the dates down to money. Okay, well, if you can't move at this time, when can you move? Well, I can move at that time. Okay, well, what's the financial burden associated with that? Well, I've got to, pay another month of my mortgage or my rent. I've got to rent a place or whatever it might be. All of that is inconvenient, but it can often be reduced down to some sort of financial component, and then you can work from there, right? Yeah,
and I mean, it's. I think you nailed it. Like, it's just, you want to move somewhere by a certain date. You either need to pony up, and on the reverse side of that, if they want to move in on a certain date, maybe you have to reduce your price or counter back higher. I don't know. It's situation dependent, but time is money. And so when you get to what time you want to move in, that's money.
Can we link in the song, the Andy Up song in here?
No, I'll start throwing stuff around the room if we do.
Get them.
MOP.
Yeah, that's right. Mike's too hot on that one. So yeah, finding other things that matter, right? Sometimes it comes down to what's included or what's excluded from the home. Maybe it's a rural property, and there's a lawnmower or a snowblower or something along those lines, and the sellers are moving to a condo and they don't need a ride-on lawnmower or a big like tractor that goes along with the house, and they'd have to go and sell it to somebody else, and you need to buy it. And sometimes, there's pieces that go along with that, but sometimes it makes more sense to add or subtract inclusions than it does to change price. And again, all of this comes back down to anchoring.
Yeah.
Right? And there's other similar type things, just those are big ticket items. Go.
No, I was just going to say, I think that's, you do find it mostly on those rural properties, because there's usually bigger ticket items like the tractor lawnmower, or the snow blower, like the driving snow blower kind of thing, right? So those are usually what it is in town, in a more urban setting.
Hot tubs and play structures.
Yeah, hot tubs, play structures, gazebos, that kind of stuff. Maybe stuff in the garage if there's like storage racks, like you get that kind of stuff.
Appliances, right?
Yeah.
Sometimes, you want to take that, you've got these beautiful black appliances, you want to take them to your next house. Okay, well, what's it cost to do that? All that sort of stuff. But a lot of the times it's hot tubs in town, right? Those are the bigger ticket items in town. The other piece, the last piece that I wrote down on my notes that I wanted to talk about was a negotiation strategy that I learned before even getting into real estate, and I learned it playing poker with a friend of mine. And that's the idea that you can't split the number 3 easily without looking like a nickel and dimer. And so a lot of agents will get stuck on negotiating in 10s or in 5s, right? So the last number being, 5,000 or 10,000. By using the rule of 3, you can oftentimes get yourself to a point where you're coming out $1,000, $2,000, $3,000, $4,000 ahead of where you otherwise would have been by using the theory that, hey, you know what, you can't split 3, and that's as you're starting to get down to really, really close. So if we're listed at 700,000 and the offer comes in at 690. Okay. The general idea is that you're going to wind up at 695, right? In that theory, if I'm representing the seller, depending on how long we've been in the market, how we come down versus how they go up, there's going to be some math in it about it, because likely you're going to end with a number that's an even thousands, but you don't have to end with a number that is either a 5 or a 10, right?
Right.
I'm using the number 700 because I think that's like the average or the median price point right now. I just looked it up. The median price is $699. The median sell price is $680. So that's typically what's happening in the market today, in fall 2022. And so to wind up at 680, you might be seeing offers when you list it at 7, you might be seeing offers of 660. Okay. Now don't get mad. Work on the offer. But if the median is that most of them are winding up at 680, then, maybe you can get 683 or, something along those lines, right? You try and figure out where the other party is going to go to, and then you just go a little bit more. For example, you go, I don't know, $2,000 or $3,000 more. I like 3,000 because if you go 2,000, they might ask you to split the 2 in half, but it's really hard to split 3. You go 5, you wind up at $2,500 difference. You go 4, you wind up at a $2,000 difference. You go 3, and they're like, okay. You go 2, they ask for $1,000 difference, but 3 has this weird ability to benefit you as as the client, as either the buyer or the seller, and it might not seem like a lot, but I mean, I don't have $1,000 in my pocket, let alone 3. So that's still good money.
Yeah. Well, I mean, that's great. That's valuable insight and some wonderful threat sense that you have. Your threat knowledge is really showing through.
Threat knowledge. That's a stretch.
Yeah. Learn it on the threats.
Yeah. The threats of Ottawa.
Yeah. Just got to lift. Oh, no, it's back again.
I thought you went to school to get rid of that.
Yeah, me too. It was an extensive surgery. Anyway, I think I'm hoping there was some helpful bits in there for you guys, so that you kind of know what we're doing, or what your realtor is hopefully doing for you behind the scenes. So hopefully that puts you a little bit at ease. And if you feel like there's maybe something that we missed, put it in the comments below. We'd like to hear from you. And if you want to know other things about what it's like to be on the buying or the selling side, scroll through our videos on YouTube, because we've definitely covered a lot of that, either being a buyer or being a seller. And there's going to be some nuggets in there for you.
Also, if you are considering selling your home, the market is changing a lot. We've just come up with a seller's guide, so you can download it for free. We'll put the link down below. So that's a free thing for you to download if you want. If you don't want, that's fine too.
That's true. So click it or don't. It's up to you. We're going to wrap up the show right now. That is Sean Tasse. I'm Brendan McKeigan. Like, subscribe, and share on YouTube and then Apple Podcasts and Spotify if you want to listen to us in your vehicle or at your desk at work. We appreciate it. And until the next one, keep it real.
Collective.